Wow, so 3 teams go through. It's goodbye to Curacao, but what drama for Ecuador. They came into the game today without a goal, without a victory, and they are through to the knockouts. Thierry Henry, Zlatan Ibrahimovic with me. Watching these scenes, I mean, Sebastian Becasese, when they got the goal, the second goal, he climbed up there to his family. We're seeing tears amongst the supporters. Thierry, we said before the game, and we said at half-time, the good thing was they only had to do one thing today. They knew what their objective was. How impressed are you that they did it?
Very impressed. It was clear right from the start what they needed to do to beat Germany. We all know it's not an easy thing to do, but they've done it. The way they've done it, they deserve it. I think for me at the beginning, VAR not calling the referee to tell that it was actually an obvious foul for me. They go 1-0 down against Germany. They come back into the game, set piece at the very end to win it. Well done, Ecuador. Well done, because everyone thought that it might have been too little too late, but they've done it. Fair play to the coach, because he was under a lot of pressure after the game against Curacao.
And Zlatan to do it not only with that first Germany goal, which was controversial, but to do it against Germany.
I said it before the game, get one chance, you might get lucky. Get second, 2 chances is a miracle. And to be honest, they got lucky and miracle by the chance. But it doesn't mean the game was not a good. They had a fantastic performance. They won the game. When you play for a win, you play differently. You risk differently. The players need to take more. They need to attack more, they need to risk more, and it's a different gameplay. So that's why they won this game. Big compliments for them. But I have a question for you, Rebecca. Do you share same conditioner as the Ecuadorian coach Sebastian or no?
Huh? It's a great look.
It's a fantastic look.
It is a great look.
Even with a win, looks even better.
Indeed. And Thierry, do you think that Ecuador could be, with their defensive record, one of these teams that is warming up into this World Cup?
It is exactly in this particular game, the Ecuador that I've seen in the qualifications, obviously in their country. The way they played, the way they did fight, the way they created chances whenever they could. It's a team usually that when you play against them is very, very, very difficult to beat them. And somehow, you know, against Ivory Coast, it didn't work out. Obviously, against Curacao, they didn't score. But that's the Ecuador that I know. You know, they find a way to score a goal or to win by 1, or to keep it tight. If you look at their results in the qualifiers, apart against Bolivia, that they won 4-0 at home, they always keep it tight. And on the set piece, anything can happen, and it did happen.
But this win also gives a lot of confidence for Ecuador. This will bring another mindset for the next upcoming game. And if you look at the group, 3 teams went through this group. Unfortunately for Curacao, they didn't go through, but I think they enjoyed playing this World Cup, and they should be happy also.
Interesting, Germany made those 2 enforced changes because of injury, but now they go into the knockout stages with a defeat on their books. Wonderful scene too. Let's take a look at the reaction to Gonzalo Plata's game winner at a watch party there in Brooklyn. We will be there, by the way, the Adidas watch party in Brooklyn on the day of the World Cup final. Come and join us. Indeed. Welcome back in our studios. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Thierry Henry, Rebecca Lowe. Lots going on around the World Cup today. Let's bring you up to date with the 2 games that kicked off simultaneously, starting with the game Ecuador-Germany, and there was a controversial early moment.
Yes, big time. VAR didn't call the referee to see if it was a foul or not, but Leroy Sané took advantage of it. You can see here Pavlovic makes contact with the face of the player of Ecuador. As you can see here, people might say to me that's the face that went to the foot, but it's still a high foot there. But then Leroy Sané obviously made it 1-0. I thought it was a foul. It didn't matter really at the very end. We all know the result now. And what was very important is to come back as quick as you can in the game. Little mistake here. Ecuador is on the ball, as you can see here, Angulo. What a strike. And look at the celebration. That was their first goal. What I'm talking about, obviously, so 14. Zlatan, you said that this is 14. Where the goal needs to happen, and it happened right there. What a strike, I have to say. Very good goal. And then, the moment that the whole of Ecuador was waiting for. Kevin Rodriguez jumps higher than anyone, and Gonzalo Plata comes in front of Neuer to make sure that he was going to make it 2-1. What a win. They did fight for every single, and then that celebration. Come on.
Who is who?
Listen is very, very important. Like, as a coach, it's a lonely place when you don't win. And so your support is your family. You can see that straight away there.
Ivory Coast advanced beyond the group stage of a World Cup for the very first time. They will face the Group I runner-up. That'll be in Dallas. Germany, they're going to Boston Stadium to take on a third-place team. It's still unclear where Ecuador will play next, but now we know they will be in the knockout rounds. For the Fox moment of the match, sponsored by Kinder Bueno.
Got that view.
Gonzalo Plata, the hero for Ecuador, his 77th minute goal, sending La Tricolor through to the next round, the 9th goal of his international career, and surely the most important. Let's have a look at the Fox One Chief World Cup watchers, hired through Indeed. We're watching all 104 matches of the tournament in a glass cube located in Times Square. That was them celebrating the Germany goal with special guest Mario Götze.
So much joy in New Jersey as Ecuador qualify for the round of 32 at this World Cup. And as you said, Germany didn't have anything to play for because despite defeat today, they had already won the group. They will face the third place team for either Group A, B, C, D or F. Outside chance that could be Scotland. Ivory Coast confirmed then in second. They'll face a tricky last 32 matches against the runners-up of Group I. That will be either France or Norway. And that goal for Ecuador means that they are in the knockout stages of a World Cup for only the second time after 2006. And as it stands, they're going to face the same team who knocked them out 20 years ago, which is England. But there are many, many twists and turns to come before that is all decided. Right, let's head back to the stadium because those scenes are incredible. And there were so many Ecuador fans inside the ground. Alan Shearer was there. Alan, we could hear the passion in your voice as the final whistle went. How much are those Ecuador fans celebrating right now?
It could be a long night. It's going to take us a long time to get outside of this stadium because they are not moving. It's going to take some to shift them because they are loving it, and so they should. They created an incredible atmosphere here this evening for you guys, and they were looking for a response from their players and from their manager, and that's exactly what they got. And I thought they did it in such a good way. When they had to go for it, when they had to gamble, they did that. And Valencia coming off and Rodriguez coming on, and he put himself around and the defenders couldn't handle him. And they deserved to win this game, and they deserved to go through, getting their first 2 goals and fighting and scrapping in the way they did. It was just great to be here, and it is.
It looks incredible. It sounds amazing. As you said, they sort of built into the game and went for it, certainly in the latter stages. It's amazing to see, Alan, how much difference a goal scorer can make.
Well, he made the decisions, and there were 1 or 2 moans and groans when, I don't know whether you remember, I mentioned it in commentary when Valencia slowed things down when they went forward, and I just sensed it then that he was coming off and someone was coming on, and they chucked the big man up front, and then he more than played his part. He put himself around, he bullied the defenders. Of course, he got the flick on for Plata for the goal. And yeah, they certainly deserve it, and the reaction from their fans has just been incredible.
Alan, enjoy the atmosphere, and hopefully at some stage you manage to make your way out of that stadium. But to be honest, it looks like it's worth staying a while and enjoying all the celebrations. Thank you so much for now. Alan Shearer inside the stadium in New Jersey. That's where the World Cup final will be held. Germany will have hopes, potentially, of reaching the World Cup final as 4-time winners themselves, having had that perfect record until today when Ecuador got that win. And having not scored a goal in their opening 2 games, I mean, despite some really attacking performance, particularly in the second of those games, they got the winner from Plata.
Yeah, and, you know, it was brilliantly worked. They had a couple of chances just before that as well, and Rodriguez had really putting himself about. It's a great flick on from Rodriguez at the front post, and Plata's just lovely movement, and he's just there at the right time. You know, he's really quick to react to obviously the header by Rodriguez, and yeah, I think Joe might have something to say about Neuer, but I think from an Ecuadorian point of view, it's a brilliant worked corner. It's great reactions and finish from Plata. And look at these scenes as well. It's just, this is what it means to them. And they know that this was, you know, potentially going to help them obviously go through to the knockouts. But it's amazing scenes.
And we think that's his family that he's going over to celebrate with. Joe, as far as Manuel Neuer is concerned, how will he look back on the way that goal was conceded?
Look, I just think you could really tell the difference in those moments, especially after the hydration break, about whose heart was in that game. Now, I'm not questioning Germany. It's difficult to go into a World Cup and start plotting your way through. They've already climbed the mountain in terms of winning their group. But from that hydration break onwards, I felt like Germany just weren't at the races, and I think that showed in that, you know, Manuel Neuer's kind of on his heels. Jonathan Tah doesn't really get his body across, but Plata's just so... He's on it. Rodriguez with the flick. He's almost reached his foot across, reached through. Neuer doesn't. He's not even aware that he's there. Now you're telling me a goalkeeper of that calibre and that the things that he's achieved in the game, that he's not going to have that vision and that awareness. They just weren't at it. I think Alan was right actually after the game. He said Neuer didn't feel right. I think the whole Germany performance didn't feel right tonight. But you can't take away from how Ecuador played.
We're joined slips of paper that have got their little, what's the word I'm looking for? Sweepstakes. That's the word I'm looking for. And Angulo in particular. And Tim talked about him growing into the tournament, Ellen.
Yeah, no, I think he's been a great addition and he really deserved his start, you know, this evening. His dribbling ability, his quality on the ball, the way that he linked up as well with the midfield and also Valencia at times. And in the second half, he really took the game to Germany. So he's really exciting. And I think as well, for Ecuador, just having that switcher mentality when obviously they conceded that goal to then go down the other side of the pitch at 7 minutes later and obviously, you know, have that finish and that ability and that vitae to be able to win the ball in midfield out to Angulo. And I think he done brilliant, you know, having 1-2 touches and then taking the shot maybe a little bit early and obviously unsighted by Neuer as well. But he had a brilliant game and was a huge player for them this evening.
Tim Vickery described Ecuador winning this game as probably Ecuador's biggest ever moment at a World Cup. So I just wonder what it sounded like in Ecuador.
La pelota, Pedro Vito! ¡Gol! ¡De Gonzalo! ¡Gol! ¡Gol ecuatoriano! ¡La hizo Gonzalo! ¡Que quiere jugar! ¡Que quiere clasificar en el Mundial!
La Rola Rodríguez, no sé cuántos minutos tiene en cancha, creo que 7, 8 minutos, pero ya hizo muchísimo más.
Well, they weren't just watching in Ecuador, they were also watching in New York. Under the shade of the Brooklyn Bridge, these Ecuador fans celebrating as hard as anyone back home. Just that little pocket of quiet Germany fans sitting at the front. That is not where you would want to be in that mix. Look, it was an incredible performance from a really battling performance. We talked a little bit about this at half-time, but it became even more important as the second half progressed, is how important this game was to Ecuador. And actually, although Germany played well and will have had that focus, there wasn't anything riding on it for them.
No, like I said, I think Ecuador was the team that wanted the most. And I would like to touch a little bit on general side of Ecuador because this generation is fantastic, I think. You know, we have so many players playing big teams here in Europe and would be really harsh for them to go out tonight. Ecuador are producing so many players the last few years, so well done to them. I think they are doing as a country a great job in producing players, and we could see today that could be the best World Cup moment for them.
Yeah, that they've ever had, and it could be incredible for them. That's what their ambition was when they came to this World Cup, and they played as though they meant to deliver on it. They created so many chances in the second half.
Yeah, tactically they were on it. You know, they saved it, obviously getting back from the setback in the first half. But this is an early chance. This is Valencia. I think, Ellen, you were saying he didn't really catch the game. And when he came out of the team, actually, they got better. So he's going to have a big decision when it comes to that. But they were just on it. They were just turning the ball over. Chances, they were causing unrest. This is obviously a difficult moment for Jonathan Tah, for Manuel Neuer. But Plata getting across the front post. They were throwing their bodies in everywhere. Here's just a simple miscommunication you don't expect with the top teams, two top players. but they were sensing, they were causing, they were rattling Germany, and they just kept pushing and pushing.
Yeah, and Rodriguez was a huge impact player coming on as a substitute, you know, using his physicality, his body. It's a great use of his body to be able to spin and obviously take that chance. And that chance led to the corner, which obviously they scored from as well. So, you know, he came on at 64 minutes and they scored the goal on the 77th. So his impact was absolutely unbelievable in the game.
23 games now that they've played under Bekasese, and this is the record defensively. These are the goals that they have conceded. It's either one or it's a clean sheet. And again, against Germany, it was one. And although this World Cup has been a tricky one in many ways, one of the lovely things about it is how many people of various different descents live in the United States. And there's an Ecuadorian, or a population of people of Ecuadorian descent, of over 1 million in the United States. And they will be able to sort of enjoy this and take part. And we saw the ones who were celebrating under the Brooklyn Bridge. Germany did have a chance, though, to put the game, maybe not beyond Ecuador, but to make it a lot more difficult for them. And it fell to Leroy Sané. How crucial do you think this was in the pattern of the game?
It's a huge chance, and you know it would have put a pin in the balloon of Ecuador. But I think Leroy Sané, I've trained with him. I think he's such a wonderful player. He's so fast. He's got an unbelievable left foot. But just on the big stage, he sits the defender down here and then just rushes it, bobbles it into the pitch. And Nagelsmann knows that's a big chance because Ecuador were in the ascendancy at the time.